So welcome to Backbreaking News 42. Today we'll be talking about WWE feel-good moments, which feel-good moments means to me is that it has to make you feel good inside. So let's start. I would say definitely the first one would be Macho Man reuniting with Miss Elizabeth at WrestleMania. It was one of the best moments for most people because you realize that they had a broken relationship at the time. She hasn't appeared. He left her for a sensational Sherry or something when he was the Macho King, which turned out to be a downfall, and eventually Macho Man Randy Savage went back to his wife. I mean, one of his. Didn't he get married twice or something? But it was really interesting storyline, and I'm glad that happened. Second one, I think we know what the second one is. This moment made me feel good. Kofi Kingston winning, became the first African American WWE champion. Now, this was. Let me set the stage here. It was 2019 WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. I was thinking Daniel Bryan was gonna win. And then all of a sudden, that Trouble in Paradise. 1, 2, 3. I was so ecstatic. I bet the next door neighbors would hear me scream, "Yes!" I was so happy that moment. I said yes. I said yes to that moment because it made me feel so good. In general, wrestling in general doesn't always make me feel good at the end of pay-per-view. But that moment just made me feel so great. Edge returning would be the third one. Because you know how special that you don't realize how special it is to see your favorite wrestler or one of them come back from seriously injuredness, and this was one of the best returns ever. The Royal Rumble. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The TV turned off on me. And guess what? And then I went in there and I saw Edge in the ring, and I was more happier because I didn't see the entrance. I feel like turning it off during when he enters makes it even more special than it would when, because you didn't know who entered, and then when you saw it, you saw Edge in there. That's what made it even a special moment for me, because I didn't even know he was entered until I got back, because I had to exit it out. So it made the moment even more less special, but even more special. I would say another feel-good moment, at least in my opinion, would be Rey Mysterio winning the Royal Rumble. Now, this was full of emotions, and I believe they got Eddie Guerrero into this storyline when he was dead, so having one of his best friends and bitter rivals winning it was special in his honor too. The storyline in there was special. At least that's what I think the storyline was. He won it. WWE says he won it from number 1. He won it from number 2, technically, but because the other person who won it from number 1 shall be that person who will not be named Chris Benoit. So they can't really say Chris Benoit on television. So number 2 spot, Rey Mysterio, was considered to winning it from the number 1 spot. But it was still a big moment nonetheless. Then I would have to say Ric Flair's retirement match against Shawn Michaels. That thing apparently it was when Ric Flair told him to come on and hit me with that super kick. It was basically the end, and it was a feel good moment because it just made his legendary career go out in a high note instead of like Kurt Angle losing to Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin. Let me get this straight. One of the worst wrestlers ever to walk on this planet. Yeah, he's a pretty good wrestler, Baron Corbin, but he ain't that great. Drew McIntyre. The next place is Drew McIntyre finally winning the WWE Championship from Brock Lesnar and the Royal Rumble together. This moment was special because Drew McIntyre was always that secondary person that really had no goals. He was just put in there to be put in there. So it was like, it's kind of very special when he won the WWE title from Brock Lesnar, because I don't like Brock Lesnar, so of course it made me feel good to see Drew McIntyre win it. I would have to say next was Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam, because Roman Reigns wasn't one of my favorite wrestlers. That has since changed to Drew McIntyre, mostly because of the whole, turning heel thing, and think he could stay home in his tribal island. No, he's taking a tribal vacation. That's what he's doing. The tribal chief is on a tribal vacation, probably somewhere far away from the United States, probably just being like, what a wonderful day. I don't defend my title, so my dates don't really count, because all I do is sit. Brock Lesnar Jr. But I would have to say his return did make me feel good. I would have to say, for some reason, this made me feel good. Braun Strowman finally getting his title shot. Finally getting the title shot he so rightfully deserved and won against Goldberg. Once again, I don't like Goldberg because I think he's too old in the ring. So, Braun Strowman beat him, and I was happy for him because he deserved it. I mean, he's one of the tallest guys that could wrestle. Him, Big Show, and Kane are the only big wrestlers that could really wrestle good in the ring. The Great Khali was okay at wrestling, but Undertaker too, but most of the people like Omos and them are not good in the ring. Braun Strowman showed he's good enough to be champion, but he didn't hold it that long like everyone to. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. Now, this moment would have been good. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks match at WrestleMania was just a feel-good moment because Bianca Belair winning, and plus it was a good match. The worst part of it was personally that was forced to be a main event by crazy Sasha Banks fans. But if it wasn't, I think it would have been better as like the start of the show, because I honestly think that Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley should have been given more time. But I do think the match that we got was forgettable. All I remember from it is Bianca Belair won. Now matches for me don't technically have to be memorable, but they should have some point to them. So I know this is feel good moments, but I'm trying to explain it. I would have to say the worst decision there was making this the main event, because it wasn't main event level. Especially if that match flopped, that would be their main event, and that, I would say, it was an okay match. It was a good match, but Bianca Belair put on better matches with other people. I would say one of the best matches I've seen from Bianca Belair run as champion was against Bayley. That was one of the best. The Hell in the Cell match they had. That was a good match. You cannot deny that. But one thing you can deny is the fact that the title run was ended by Becky Lynch. but that goes into our next moment. Uh, um, Not Becky Lynch returning, but Bianca Belair at WrestleMania again facing Becky Lynch. Now this was, in my opinion, the best match from Bianca Belair and the best match from Becky Lynch, because they killed each other. If they could have murdered each other in that match, they would have. And that's the reason why it was feel good when Bianca Belair finally got her revenge for getting beat in 18 seconds at SummerSlam. Now let's see what she does against SummerSlam this year. Maybe she will be facing big time Bex. Why would you be called that? That's one of the worst nicknames ever. It would be me rambling. I'm sorry. This is just something that I'm good at. But the next moment would be now this Nia Jax winning the Raw Women's Championship. Now this she can't wrestle for 2 cents safely, but when she beat Alexa Bliss, it just had a special connection because she was being used and she was being bullied, and eventually what happened is she came over that problem by beating Alexa Bliss. If you remember that storyline, she made fun of her weight, which I believe was something that was mentioned, and that was a big comeuppance from her. That just connected to me on a personal level, so it made me it was a feel good moment for me. It might not be there for everyone, but it sure was for me. And I'm not sure about this one, but this is one of the Royal Rumble return of Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is one of my favorites because I love lucha libre style wrestlers too. I liked Kalisto. I liked Alberto Del Rio, who was a luchador. If you did not know, his family was luchadors, and since you know the whole Lucha Council, there's many videos about the Lucha Council that you could watch out there that would explain it better. But his real name is known now, and it's because of Lucha Council. Because by law with it, if you get your master, your name is revealed, and his uncle is Mil Mascaras. But people like that really entertain me, because they could do more high-flying stuff. Alberto Del Rio was not a high flyer, but he was one of my favorite wrestlers. The next one, Dean Ambrose winning the championship, the WWE Championship. Now this just made me feel good because Dean Ambrose always was that wrestler who was really funny, and you love to see that. It makes you happy while you're watching wrestling, and that's something people need more now than they ever did. So when he won the championship, it was well worth it. It wasn't like this forced thing, like they tried to force Brock Lesnar down our throat, Roman Reigns down our throats. And I would say that this video is good for people who are not exactly that interested in wrestling, but they will get let's just say if there's enough demand for it, I may do another wrestling theme for people. And this one would be like most hated moments, or most hated matches, or the best matches. That's something I might do in the future. But now let's get started with another feel-good moment. I would say Daniel Bryan returning to the ring, because his career moment was astonishing, because he had to retire in 2016 because of an injury and he came back like Edge did, but he announced it for WrestleMania, which made it even more special because you get to see his return match at WrestleMania. If they did it at the Royal Rumble, it would have been okay, but I think they should have just had Edge go to, like, I feel like the Edge return could have been way better than it was, honestly, but it was still a great moment. Daniel Bryan's return was a great moment, and he has some great matches. His second run around, and the company as a full-time wrestler. I can remember one off the top hand with Drew Gulak. Those two would have made great tag team champions. The second one would be Undertaker's retirement, because retirement. It was horrible at first, but it was great to see him go up there for the last time and just do what he did, his entrance, and see it one last time. I wish they gave him like an opponent or something, because his last match was lacking in two considering ways. It wasn't a real match. In ring, it was like a cinematic match, which you could say counts. But I want to see, action. I don't want to see, like, animated. It's like, I don't want to see movie-like matches. And you want me to tell you what? That's my list. But I do want to say one thing before I head out. This is Max Ali Singer. Goodbye. Hope you have a good day. Well, good night, maybe, if you're somewhere else in the world besides the U.S., or if you're in the U.S., it might be nighttime where you're at. So, bye.